Yeah. Welcome into Garbage Time Fantasy Football. I'm your host, Ron Seymour, joined as always by Ryan Warner, Joseph McCann, and JJ LaPlante. How are you doing, boys?
Doing good. How are you doing tonight?
I'm here. It's always a good thing.
It's always good when you can draw out the music correctly the first time, right?
Yeah. We definitely didn't have to start over because I messed up. Garbage time. Is Ryan even paying attention? He's muted. He's looking down at something. Is UFC on?
Nope, no UFC tonight.
Right.
I'm on, guys.
All right. So on today's show, we have some news. Not much. It's nothing big that we'll discuss, and then we're gonna do some. Is it Would You Rather's?
Yeah, some Would You Rather's. We're gonna have like a podcast game going on tonight.
But first, JJ, did you get anyone on any of your social medias you put out there to ask any questions or no?
I didn't actually ask today, so.
Wow.
I need reminders.
I'm gonna give you a bunch of shit, but I also didn't do anything like that. Wow, JJ, way to go.
I failed. I just completely forgot.
Dropping the ball.
All right.
I haven't been on the Twitter sphere as much. There's not as many people as many people to argue about Mitch Trubisky with these days.
Twitter's in the off season too, so.
Yeah. All right, let's jump right into the news.
News updates.
I hate it so much. I gotta find a new one.
I love it. You got to keep it.
I don't know. Oh man. All right. So there's a little bit of news. Again, it's nothing big. It's just that.
Just something I was typing up on our Instagram, right?
Yeah. Julio Jones officially has been traded to the Tennessee Titans. The Titans gave up Julio and a sixth in 2023 for a second rounder this year and a fourth rounder next year. So yeah, here we go. Let's discuss fantasy implications. Go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, I'm going first. At
Strike,
first,
go, JJ.
oh,
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Fantasy-wise, it's I'm not that excited about it. I know some people are excited and think the Titans are going to be this juggernaut.
Boys, I'm excited.
I'm not as in on the Titans as some people are, and maybe that's a mistake on my part. I think the Colts are going to win the division. I think the Titans' defense is trash, and I don't think they did enough to bolster it. So,
Well, I mean, with their defense being trash, they might have to throw the ball more, which is opening up more opportunities.
That's true. But
that's what I was thinking too.
There's plenty of targets left.
But we've never really seen Tannehill, run a high passing volume offense. So I know he's been very good the past couple of years, very efficient, but that's been in, a lower passing volume offense.
Ron, you are correct about that, but let me argue that Ryan Tannehill has one of the easiest schedules in the first 5 weeks. I think his hardest defense he's going up against in the first 5 weeks is the Cardinals, who was absolutely annihilated in the secondary last year. So, I mean, he could get into a rhythm with these receivers early and be a sneaky late-round pick that could help you win your championship.
Oh, I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm just saying we have yet to see him do it.
This might be the
year
year
for
it
it
to happen.
So they did bring in a new offensive coordinator. So who knows? Maybe their plan is to be a little bit more passing. Maybe they don't want to give Derrick Henry the ball 300,000 times or whatever he had.
I still think they do, but I think there's enough volume there for him to still be successful in that offense. Between Jonnu and Corey Davis being gone, There's 133 receptions out there, and that's just the receptions, not just the targets, which Julio is going to be more proponent to catch all of those targets. He's a better receiver than both Jonnu and Corey Davis at this stage, even in his career.
Whoa, Joe actually giving some Julio Jones love. That's an odd take.
As a wide receiver number 2 this year, though, he's not a top 10 anymore, but A.J. Brown's stats are going to go up, I think, I think it was 1,100 yards last year and 11 touchdowns. I could see him having actually better numbers even in the touchdown department because Julio is going to take that intermediate route that Corey Davis is giving up now. So I think there's a lot of usage for him in this offense.
Here's a real fear I have. When it comes to both A.J. Brown and Julio Jones, they both are, I don't want to say injury prone, but they both, have suffered injuries throughout their careers. I know A.J. Brown's always been a few years, but he's had some injuries that have taken him off the field. I mean, he missed a couple games in the beginning of last year. I mean, I know Julio generally plays through his injuries, but he is getting older. Like, can he still do that? Wasn't really able to do it as much last year. So, but if they could stay healthy for 17 games.
I don't even really necessarily think you need him to stay healthy for 17 games for him to be a top 40 pick this year. All right, so just take his stats for the last 3 years, okay? So 2018 to 2020. Obviously, there was quite a drop-off, which I predicted quite well last year.
Oh, geez.
But if you average it out, I mean, he had 87 reception and 1,280 yards. You don't need him to be that successful to have him in the top 40 of any draft. He's comfortable in the number 2 wide receiver role there in Tennessee, and I think he's a great pickup for them.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I think it was a good football move. Like I said, they didn't have much or anything really behind A.J. Brown. I thought Josh Reynolds would step in admirably, but I don't think he was going to provide the difference-making ability that Julio Jones has.
What do you guys think this is going to do to Calvin Ridley's fantasy outlook now that Julio Jones is gone?
I mean, without Julio last year, he was incredibly successful. So
He was.
He's the man there, and he's proven that he can be the one and doesn't need a sidekick. So, I mean, I think 1,600 yards is not out of the realm of possibilities, especially with their defense, which they didn't do a whole lot to address. I mean, there's no reason they're not going to be in shootouts again this year. So
Just like
I don't
Titans.
think
had a
there is a
monster
ceiling high enough for Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
I don't.
Think about it this year too, dude. So last year, even with Julio there, Calvin Ridley got 30% of the targets. He's gone now.
But what about the games that Julio missed? I'm sure that number was even higher.
I believe his numbers actually went down, but still being a rookie and learning the NFL, I think he'll kind of get over that hump this year. His ceiling can't
He
be.
wasn't a rookie last
He
year.
wasn't a rookie last year.
I'm sorry, you're right. But coming into his own still, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was his second year last year, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
It was his
Regardless.
third year.
Yeah. Wow, I'm way off of that. Anyway, him coming into his own and being the alpha in that offense, I think he's going to be comfortable in that role now, and you don't have to worry about that necessarily.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like Kyle Pitts, and I do think he has probably the best rookie tight end season ever. And I also believe that they line him up at wide receiver a whole lot now.
Well, think about who else is there. Who else is more talented than him on that offense outside of Ridley? I mean, who they have? Russell Gage, Hayden Hurst.
Yeah.
Obviously the most talented person there. And Julio even – so just take last year as an example. With over the last 3 years, 87 receptions averaged.
Yeah.
Who are they going to go to? It's obviously going to go to the most talented players on that offense. So they're going to look to give that to Kyle Pitts.
Well, that's what I mean. I wouldn't be shocked if they line him up at like wide receiver and still have Hayden Hurst on the field as the tight end.
Yeah, 2 tight end sets, 2 wide receivers being their most common packages.
Yeah.
You guys know who holds the record for most receiving yards by a rookie tight end in the NFL?
Is it not Evan Ingram?
No.
Because I know Evan Ingram had a really good rookie season.
I actually do not.
Is it Vernon Davis?
Nope. Got to go all the way back to 1961.
Oh, I'm not gonna. I bet you it's a Bears tight end. Gee, what Bears tight end is it?
Mike Ditka, 1,076 receiving yards and 12 touchdowns. His rookie year, 1961.
Might get broken this year.
The only rookie tight end to ever eclipse even 900 yards. So
I could really see Kyle Pitts falling into that 5-6 range at tight end.
and he did it in 14 games, and Pitts has 17 games. Pitts should have 1,200 yards if they use him right.
Yeah,
I don't care if he's a rookie. They can put him outside as a receiver.
right. He's a rookie tight end, but if they use him as a wide receiver, which he can do, like
The only thing he's going to have to really worry about, too, is now they're going to put a safety on him now that Julio Jones is gone, too. So there's going to be an extra player on Kyle Pitts.
but there's got to be an extra play. And what really is bad is they don't have a real run game to speak of. So they're not going to have to worry about stacking the box until someone makes them. So they'll be able to play a lot of coverage. But I think Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts are both good enough to beat double coverage. Calvin Ridley was doing it last year when Julio wasn't on the field. So I don't know.
I mean, if anything, this actually might. I don't know. I'm a little bit. This is always a tough subject to talk about, whether losing a weapon helps another target, because Julio not being there, they may lock down the secondary a little bit more and disrespect the run a little bit less. But I really don't know how to feel about that for their running backs, if this is going to really hurt or help. It's somewhere, I think, in the middle. I don't think it's going to really affect the running game that much.
I just don't think that the defenses focus on the running game as much. Like they're not going to have to. It's not like with Tennessee where you have to put 8 in the box, or else Derrick Henry is going to make you look like toddlers.
Right.
Like they don't have someone on their team where they have to put. They might have a linebacker kind of watch for the running back. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't have that guy that makes you demand respect in the running game. Not yet.
Well, I think that the true question is can Mike Davis take on some of those targets as a receiving running back? Because there is still some targets, obviously, that are going to open up now that Julio's gone.
I think most of those targets go right to Kyle Pitts.
Yeah,
If
me
I'm
too.
being honest, I really do. I wouldn't be surprised if he lines up more as a wide receiver than he does a tight end this year.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't shock me at all. So I do think this helps Derrick Henry. Like I said, I don't think he had he had over 350 runs last year or something like that, right? He had a lot.
And I
Of
don't think
rushes.
it changes.
I think it does. I think just because of one, their defense is so bad. Like they're going to end up being down in games, which I know they'll still run when they're down in games, but it won't be as much. But his runs are probably going to end up being against less 8-man boxes, because teams are really going to have to watch Julio Jones and AJ Brown. You have to double at least one of them.
Mm-hmm.
You can't double both of them, because then they'll just give the ball to Derrick Henry. Like, I do think this offense has a chance to be highly prolific.
I agree.
And if Ryan doesn't stop talking, I swear to God.
I'm scared now. You called on me and I got all excited, and then you shut it down.
Yeah, you still haven't got his Julio take. And I would
know.
say that the Titans
And then you
offense
start
is already I can't help myself. It was already prolific. They were number 3 last year. Are they going to finish better than that?
No.
Go ahead, Ryan.
What am I even supposed to give a take on at this point?
Julio to the Titans.
Who you spent $46 on last year.
All right.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
I don't know. I think like Joe mentioned, there's a lot of targets going around. I mean, the Titans were one of the only other teams to almost have 2 receivers break 1,000 yards. The Chiefs did, and then the Titans were close. They had
Corey Davis had like
Cor-
900 and something.
Yep, like 980, I think, 984. And then AJ Brown had 1,075. So it's very possible that you see AJ Brown and Julio both break 1,000 yards this season. The targets will be there, and with Derrick Henry, it's not like they can choose to just play the pass or just play the run. It's gonna be a tough thing for defenses, and if they lean one way or another, they're going to get burned.
I think where AJ Brown's going to make his money is in the red zone this next season. It's going to be impressive. I could see him having 13 touchdowns, even on top of the 11.
I'm just hoping Julio actually gets some touchdowns. His entire career, he just has not been that touchdown guy. I remember one year.
I don't feel like you will, dude.
I remember that one year. This was a few years ago now, 5 or 6 probably.
Mm-hmm.
Like that poor man got tackled within the 5-yard line like 20 times that season. Like he was on his way for a touchdown and someone just got him within the 5-yard line. I just remember people were talking about he finished with like 5 or 6 touchdowns on the season, but he should have had like 20.
Yeah, the crazy thing is, just looking really quick, going all the way back to 2013, the most touchdowns Julio's ever had in a season is 8, which he did in 2015 and he did in 2018.
And that's wild because he's tall.
And this is a dude that's put up over 1,300 yards every season but 2.
Yeah.
He's an athlete, but he's a good route runner. He's good on intermediate targets. He's not good at hitting the jump money balls.
He's not super fast either. Like he doesn't have like blazing speed. He's quick.
No. What's going to put him in the Hall of Fame is his route running.
Yeah. Well, and
completely disagree.
He
ran like a 4.4 flat 40, and he is great at the jump ball. That's why it's crazy he doesn't have like that catch in the Super Bowl was absolutely insane.
Right.
Versus the Patriots.
But that's adorable, but it doesn't translate.
He's a great route runner too.
I mean, he does average 4.6 yards per carry, which is better than some running backs that we talk about.
All right, let's get on. Let's move on. We'll go to the would you rather questions. Joe?
All right, boys. Would you like me to explain for our listeners how this is going to work?
Do it.
All right. Since it's a little bit slow in the offseason right now, I've got a bunch of scenario questions for these boys in front of us that they're going to have to answer off the top of their heads. And if anyone else wants to jump in and rebuttal them, they're more than welcome to. I've got 25 questions here of would you rathers. They're going to pick a number here, and I'm going to ask them the questions, and they're going to reply right off the top of their head, and then we'll see where it goes. So who wants to go first?
Ryan.
I think Ryan does too.
I'll take number 17.
You want number 17?
Wait, hold on, Joe. Are you like writing down which ones we take so we don't do it again? Are you crossing them off?
Yeah,
I'm just going to write them down.
I'm going to put an X right next to it. I've got a pen. All right, Ryan. Who would you rather have? Michael Carter, the Jets running back, or Trevor Lawrence? This is for a later round draft.
I'm gonna say Michael Carter. Rookie quarterbacks, they usually struggle. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is going into a pretty good situation where he's going to be the starter day one, but Michael Carter is no joke, and that running back Jets job is up for the taking. I mean, he could be the bell cow and end up being a pretty solid pick. Taking him in the late round, I would definitely go with Michael Carter.
So according to Fantasy Pros right now, he's rated right now as the running back 40 and Lawrence as the quarterback 15. So he's rated as a backup QB. So what are your guys' takes on those players?
I would definitely take Carter over Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
He's got a chance to wildly outperform his ADP just on volume alone. Like Ryan said, there's no one else in that backfield. And there's already been reports coming out say that Michael Carter is looking amazing at camp. So
Michael Carter, that's what you strive for late in drafts is young/rookie players that have an opportunity to break out. And
right.
You guys don't think Tevin Coleman is any threat to that running backfield? Okay.
Not really. And Trevor Lawrence, there's no way he's going to even top Justin Herbert's rookie season. So I'll take Carter 10 out of 10 times.
I agree with that too. Good
Nailed
pick there,
it.
Ryan. I think we all agree with you.
All right, JJ.
Oh, no. Ron Seymour's going next. You don't get the pick there.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm going to pick the number of where I'm going to finish in our fantasy football league this year, and that's number 1.
10.
All right, Ron. You're at the top of the draft, okay? You
All
have
right.
between Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, or Alvin Kamara from the 5th position of the fantasy draft. Who are you taking?
Number 5 overall, Jonathan Taylor,
Nick Chubb and
Nick
Alvin
Chubb,
Kamara. on
Alvin
your board.
Kamara.
We already know that Ron hates Jonathan Taylor, so
I don't hate Jonathan Taylor. That's not. I've never said that. But I do think I would take Nick Chubb.
Boys?
I would take Alvin Kamara still. Number 5. I mean, I know that we're going to see a dip in his performance, possibly, but he's still such a versatile player. He's the reigning top running back for quite a while now. So I would at number 5, I would be going Alvin Kamara.
I'd take Kamara too. He has been in the league 4 years. He's had over 80 receptions in all 4 years. And I love Chubb, and I think he's maybe the best pure running back in the NFL just with his vision and how effective he is. But the Saints added nothing pass catcher wise. They lost Jared Cook. He's going to have 80 plus receptions again.
And Chubb just doesn't get those receptions.
Right.
I'm just not sure if Alvin Kamara is going to have 80 receptions. I look at the quarterbacks they have in their quarterback room.
There's one.
Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, who just wants to throw the ball downfield. Like, he does not like to check it down. He likes to bomb that thing. And I know their other receivers haven't done anything for years, but like they don't need to. Their one wide receiver broke the reception record 2 years ago. Like, it wouldn't shock me if he just hyper targeted. And then if they roll with Taysom Hill at all, he's not going to check it down because he's just gonna run the ball away. Alvin Kamara has made his hay off of his receptions. Like, that's why he's been a top fantasy running back, because he averages 80 receptions a year. I'm not sure if I can definitively say he's going to break that 80 reception mark again.
That's the offense, though. I mean, in Tampa, Jameis is throwing it downfield because that's what Arians does. I mean, Sean Payton's not going to sit there and let Winston just throw 30 interceptions again. I don't think.
That's what I mean, though. There's so much uncertainty where I know what Nick Chubb's role is. I know that in the red zone, he's getting the ball. He could legitimately finish with 15 touchdowns this year.
So I'm not changing my answer. I still think I would take Kamara, but also to Ron's point. So Drew Brees targeted his running backs at least 28% of the time, each of the 4 seasons in each of the last 4 years. Jameis Winston's never gone over 18%. Granted, he also never had Kamara, but
Right.
And on top of
Kamara
that,
had 21 touchdowns last year.
And on top of that, Ron, you said that they never take Nick Chubb out of the red zone. That's false. On third down, Kareem Hunt comes in on passing downs. So
Still, first and second down, it's going to be Nick Chubb.
yes.
So that's still 2 downs where he could get the touchdown. Would it shock you if Nick Chubb had 12 to 15 touchdowns?
Absolutely not, because the Browns have a fantastic offensive line.
Right. And I just don't know how prolific that Saints offense is going to be. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what it's going to be like with Jameis Winston. They could put Jameis Winston in there, and Jameis Winston could just be crap. And then they turn to Taysom Hill, who they actually had success with when he played last year. Don't shake your head. No, he was 5-0. They had success with Taysom Hill as their quarterback.
No,
Like, I understand you don't think Taysom Hill is a quarterback. I get
he's
it.
not.
Okay,
You
I
know he's
understand.
not.
Okay, I understand where you're coming from. But did they not go 5-0 when he was a starting
I
quarterback
don't know
last
what the
year?
record was, but they threw for
It
like
was
17
5-0.
yards a game.
I don't care. It was 5-0. They don't care how many passing yards they're getting when they're winning games. Like,
It's not a
and
quarterback.
he's not going to turn the ball over. What if Jameis Winston? What if they make him starter week 1? In the first 2 games, each game he throws 5 interceptions. You think Sean Payton's going to keep him in that game? No. They're going to go to Taysom Hill.
And let me say that the Saints starting QB/tight end's favorite running back was Latavius Murray, even when Alvin Kamara was there. So I think you would want Jameis Winston starting if you did draft Alvin Kamara.
And that's what I mean. Like, I would rather have Kamara if it was the end of the first round and Kamara was still there. I wouldn't be mad taking him, but I would take Jonathan Taylor and Nick Chubb over Alvin Kamara right now. I don't know how I feel about that offense.
Interesting.
I'll write it down.
All right.
I'm sure it'll
Just
go on
like Joe
Instagram.
says, Aaron Jones is going to outscore Jonathan Taylor. I'll write this
He will.
down too.
All right, on to the next one. JJ, pick a number.
I will pick number 4.
All right.
He's going to finish in the fantasy football league.
All right,
That was
JJ.
the trophy.
Would you rather draft?
You know how I got that trophy? Alvin
Did you win?
Kamara.
Alvin Kamara.
All right, Ron, you're in timeout. I got to get this question off. All right, JJ. Would you rather draft Terry McLaurin or Allen Robinson?
Did you make that up for me?
It's like it was meant for you.
That's tough. I have them in about the same range. Man. I think I would take Terry McLaurin.
Why?
I just think he has more upside. I think Allen Robinson, he's in the same offense. I think his ceiling is probably where he's finished the last couple of years, like 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. I think McLaurin could have like Brandon Marshall with the Jets, Fitzpatrick numbers.
I agree.
With Washington. I think, we talked about how Jameis likes to chuck it downfield a little bit. So does Fitzpatrick. And I know they have a good defense, so they probably won't need to pass as much. But I mean, I think it's just going to be one of the most improved offenses in the league. I think. I don't know. I like Washington this year.
All right, I'm going to let the dog out of timeout. Ron, you can respond.
Oh, I totally would take McLaurin too for pretty much all the reasons JJ said. It's not that I don't like Robinson, but he's getting a rookie quarterback because I don't think Andy Dalton's going to play for very long, if he even does. He's getting a rookie quarterback that's going to have to learn the system. They're going to have to gain confidence in each other. Where Fitzpatrick has shown again and again, he can just go into an offense and make a wide receiver look astounding.
He just gets guys numbers through his career.
It's crazy how he can do it. And it's crazy how he can do that and yet still just not be looked at as like this great quarterback just because he's never really won any playoff games.
Never
I think
been
he's
to the playoffs.
I think he's appeared in one playoff game. I think
Doesn't he just remind you of like
think
a
he
late
ever-
career Kurt Warner? Like I would love to see that be the end of his career, being like
I would love I want Fitzpatrick to go to win a Super Bowl. I think the man deserves it, honestly.
I don't think he will, but it would be pretty cool to see.
And honestly, I do believe his best chance is right now with the Washington football team. Like JJ said, their defense is nasty. I will probably have them winning the NFC East
Wow.
because
Daniel Jones
their
definitely is gonna
defense
be a
is
top 10 QB then.
their defense is nasty and their offense could be equally as nasty. Like
Yeah,
I
they're gonna be a good team this year.
I am nervous. Like legitimately.
Does our resident babysitter Ryan Warner want to get on this, or is he good?
No, pretty much all the reasons that were already said with the quarterback situation with Chicago. I think just McLaurin's ceiling's way higher.
Mhm. All right, with that, I guess we'll let Ryan pick his next number then.
I'll go with number 12.
Number 12? All right, Ryan. Number 12. You're picking your first quarterback on your team. Would you rather have Russell Wilson or Justin Herbert?
Ooh.
Those are pretty good, Joe.
Yeah.
Props.
I got a lot of them on here. You'll like more.
I think I'm gonna go Russell Wilson. I mean, he's always consistent. He's usually always in that top 10 range. Justin Herbert did really turn. Oh, Miles doesn't agree. He's like, Herbert, you idiot.
Smart kid.
Yeah, I'm thinking Russell Wilson. Justin Herbert, what I was saying, turned it on at the end of last year, but also you may have had the kind of situation where it was a pretty talented quarterback coming in halfway through the year. Defenses didn't really know how to prepare for him. They might have more tape on him now. So I think Russell Wilson will perform better.
Boys?
You do know Justin Herbert came in week 2, right?
Yeah, but that's beside the point.
Not exactly half. Like it's. I mean, if you were to split the season up into 2 halves, that'd be closer to the beginning.
To
I
be
don't know
fair,
if you know how
my-
these things work, but it goes 1, 2.
Miles had me a little distracted.
That's all right. That's the week that the doctor tried to murder Tyrod Taylor.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well,
I would take
and-
Herbert. And it's not much different than the argument for McLaurin over Allen Robinson. The upside is higher. Like you said, Russell Wilson has always been in that 10 to 12 range.
Mhm.
I don't think Russell Wilson is coming out of that 10 to 12 range. They tried the experiment of let Russ cook last year. Pete Carroll didn't like it
he finished number
So-
6 last season.
because of the first 5 or 6 weeks where he was flinging the ball like crazy.
Fantasy Pros has them ranked QB 6, Russell Wilson, and Justin Herbert number 7. So I found that pretty interesting.
Yeah, I don't
They're
like
definitely
that.
close. I think they're definitely close. I would lean towards Wilson.
But again, I think Herbert's ceiling is. I think Herbert's ceiling is the number 1 quarterback of the league for fantasy. That is legitimately his ceiling
Yeah,
as QB1.
I agree with Ron.
Russell Wilson does
Wilson-
not.
He's got to throw between 38 and 4,100 yards.
Mhm.
Wilson is, and probably around 30 touchdowns this year. Last year he threw 40, and that was really high. And the defense was shitty the first part of the year, which they kind of honed that in. So, yeah, I would probably take Herbert too, but I definitely see the appeal of Wilson. You're going to get a staple of consistency.
Mhm.
You're going to set it and forget it when he's in, and you don't have to worry about it. There's going to be weeks where he scores 40, and there's going to be weeks where he scores 20, but he'll be competitive every week. So
I think you could set Herbert and forget it too. I
yeah,
honestly
for
do.
sure. Yeah,
I think he finishes top 5.
and I like both of them, but yeah, the upside is just a little higher. Let's see what Herbert can do in year 2.
All right, Ron, pick your next question.
I'm going to go to the complete opposite end and pick 25 now.
All right, Ron, you're picking at the end of the draft now. All right. So would you rather pick Denzel Mims, Rashad Bateman, or Slayton?
Denzel Mims for the Jets, Rashad Bateman for the Ravens,
Mm-hmm.
and Darius Slayton for the Giants.
Yes.
Not Darius Slayton. Too many mouths to feed, and I think he ends up being 3rd or 4th on the wide receiver depth chart there.
And just remember, this is to fill out your bench, so this is not
Right. Yeah. I think I'm going to go with the upside with Denzel Mims. I think I would do that. Hoping this Jets offense with Zach Wilson and new head coach and everything. I hope see what they got, and if Zach Wilson comes in and plays good, Denzel Mims might be his guy. Like it might be the guy he likes. So I think I would go with the upside of Denzel Mims.
Brian, JJ?
I think Ron, again, hit it, nail on the head. Corey Davis is already banged up, and that's, historically been his track record. You got Jamison Crowder in the contract dispute, which Jets are kind of being cheap assholes, in my opinion, because they have a shit ton of cap space, and they can definitely pay him what he's owed, but they just don't.
I kind of agree with you there, but he's not going to get $10 million on the open market, so I think he needs to take a little bit of a pay cut.
Yeah, and I don't think he's. So I don't think he's gonna budge, and I don't think they're gonna budge. So I really can see a situation where they see how the offseason's going and what they have, and potentially cut him. So that's, I know, a lot of targets and receptions gone from the Jets.
There's also the possibility of during all these training camps and everything, a wide receiver gets injured and the team gets needy,
Right.
and they go to the Jets and are like, "Hey, we'll take him off your hands."
And as far as Slayton, like Ron said, yeah, Kadarius Toney now there, Kenny Galladay there now. You still got Evan Ingram there. You still got Sterling Shepard there. And then Bateman,
Saquon
I
Barkley.
just will never put my faith in the arm of Lamar Jackson until he proves he can throw the ball down the field accurately, which he's
not even that. Not even just throw the ball accurately. Before they're throwing the ball more than 15 times a game. Like
it's a small pie.
I think Lamar Jackson averages like 220 passing yards a game.
Mm-hmm.
And 80% of those go to the tight end. Like,
going back to something, it's a little bit off topic. We're kind of backtracking here a little bit, but commenting on Jamison Crowder here again, I could see a situation where this sizzles out and they just kind of go with the $10 million. But I could also see what you guys were saying, where they see how healthy they are at this position, or potentially trade him to someone else, because they got Corey Davis, who might be a little injury riddled right now, but he's probably going to be fine for training camp. They drafted Elijah Moore, who is a slot receiver, and also brought in Keelan Cole with Mims. So there's a lot of receivers on that team, younger ones too, that are going to grow with him. I would personally like to keep him because he's a good veteran presence for the locker room. And we had 4 or 5 wide receivers go down last year. We were playing with absolute trash. So I think it'd be beneficial to keep him, but I think for fantasy purposes, Jamison Crowder would be better somewhere else.
I understand why the Jets did what they did with Sam Darnold and all that, but they should have kept Sam Darnold and traded out of that number 2 pick. They should have.
No.
They had no idea what they had in Sam Darnold. None. He was injured the 1 year. Last year, he was with Adam Gase. And wasn't last year the mono year too, or was that 2 years ago?
That was 2 years ago.
2 years, yeah, 2 years ago was the mono.
He had mono / Adam Gase. So
that's true.
Right.
Yeah,
this past year it was Adam Gase. Like
Adam Mono Gase.
I would have kept him. I would have kept him, traded out of that number 2, got a haul. And then what's the worst case scenario? It actually doesn't work. Well, then you have all these picks to pick up a quarterback next year.
Well, boys, we won't have to wait long to see if it was the right decision. The Jets play in week 1. All right. So that means, all right, who's next to pick a number then?
JJ.
All right, JJ, pick.
18.
All right. Would you rather have Marvin Jones or Michael Pittman Jr.?
Michael Pittman Jr. Easily.
Care to elaborate?
I just think the Jaguars have more mouths to feed there with Chark and ETN now as a pass catcher. And they got Laviska Shenault, who I think has more upside than people are giving him credit for. I like his upside a lot this year. And I just watched a good bit of Pittman last year and in the postseason. And I think he's got a lot of potential. And T.Y. Hilton doesn't really scare me. I think Michael Pittman's a 1,000-yard receiver next year.
Good answer. Anyone want to rebut that, or are they pretty comfortable with that answer?
No, I'm comfortable with it. And it's like I've been saying, I kind of sound like a broken record, but it's upside again. The upside is higher with Pittman over Marvin Jones. I'm not saying Marvin Jones can't be a serviceable wide receiver for fantasy some weeks, but like JJ said, Pittman could finish over 1,000 yards on the year. So
Every time you're in a position in those drafts, and those guys are probably going around the similar time, like place in the draft. Every time I'll take the younger guy that has more upside. I mean, that's just how you win leagues. You hit on some of the late picks
that's
with
how you
guys
get
like that
trophy.
can win. That's right.
I'm pretty comfortable with that answer. All right, so Ryan, pick a number.
I would go 7.
Lucky number 7, huh? Or is this not going to be so lucky? All right, Ryan, would you rather have Mark Andrews or TJ Hawkinson?
Oh, we already
TJ
know this
Hawkinson.
answer.
TJ Hawkinson all the way.
Moving on. Ron, pick an answer. Number.
Pick an answer. B.
We all knew that answer, so pick a number.
Yeah, that one was easy. Ryan has shown his love for TJ Hawkinson.
Like I said, it was lucky number 7, so I threw in a give me.
Let's go 13.
Number 13. All right, Ron, would you rather have Mike Davis or James Robinson?
Mike Davis.
Damn, that was quick.
Yep. I am out on James Robinson, and it's nothing to do with talent or anything like that. I just think he fades away in this offense.
Shit, you threw him away like he was kryptonite.
Yeah.
Urban Meyer just, I don't know, hates him. I don't understand.
I don't trust it. I would rather have the volume from Mike Davis rather than the efficiency of James Robinson right now.
It's unbelievable that, so for Fantasy Pros, that he's ranked 31. After his production last year, usually you see someone from that low just ascend higher, and it's like everyone's completely out of him now.
Well, it's because
And I completely get it.
you do not draft a quarterback in the first round and have them sit on the bench. Their careers are too short. So if you think that a running back
You
is
mean
taken,
running back?
is that not what I said? Did I
You
say
said
wide receiver?
quarterback in the first round.
I mean, okay.
I mean, they
Okay,
did take a quarterback in the first round. But
Right. So you don't take a running back in the first round and have them sit on the bench. Their careers are too short. And if you're taking one in the first round, that means you believe in their talent and you believe their talent is next level, going to help you win games. This regime did not grab James Robinson. This regime drafted Travis Etienne. James Robinson was an undrafted player. They have no money tied up into him. All they have is his efficiency from last year. Offense is going to be different. I'm going to take Mike Davis.
Anybody disagree?
JJ wants to.
I don't want Mike Davis.
I mean,
I've seen him up close and personal. He's what's he, 30 years old now? And I saw him break down last year. He broke down after a few good weeks. He was done. There is no way that dude is going 17
well,
weeks.
yeah, but if I can draft him late, have a few good weeks, then trade him.
I think Robinson could get that. I mean, as high as, I don't know, 12 carries a game. I mean, it's going to depend on game script, but you talk about upside. I don't know. I don't trust Mike Davis. That's the thing. I would probably pass on Mike Davis and take Robinson later.
What round are you guys comfortable taking these two in? I mean, you could say never, I guess, but
13.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not targeting either of these guys, but
yeah,
if it came to round 13 and they're both sitting there at 13, hopefully I have my running back position addressed. I would probably go with Robinson because who knows, they could even flip him, trade him for a 3rd round pick or something. He was 5th in the NFL in rushing yards last year.
Now, if they traded James Robinson to the Falcons, oh boy, would I be in?
Yeah.
man, that question was like Friday the 13th. Oh, you see what I did there?
No, it's today, Friday the 13th. What day are we on?
No, I'm just saying it's too bad running back, so you'd have a bad luck. Get it?
It was horrible.
Bad dad joke. Anyway.
Bad dad joke. And you're not even a dad.
No, shut up. On to the next person.
All right.
He has a garden, damn it.
Who's next? Who is next? Who picked 13? I picked 13, right? Or JJ's next.
Yep. Pick a number.
9.
Number 9. All right, JJ. Would you rather have Cortland Sutton or Odell Beckham?
Cortland Sutton. Man, these are good, Joe. These are good.
These are good.
Man,
Portland Sutton, Odell Beckham. I'm gonna have to go with the quarterback. I'm gonna have to go Odell Beckham on this one.
Yeah, that's the thing that made me, because I'm thinking Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater. Man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go Odell on this one. It's hard. That's a hard one. It's one of those things where if Aaron Rodgers went to Denver, this would be super easy.
And Sutton's coming off an ACL, but
man, though
he was out the whole year, and he was good 2 years ago.
Yep.
Even with Drew Lock, he was good 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I lied. I'm taking Cortland Sutton. If he can be good with Drew Lock, he can be good with Teddy Bridgewater.
Beckham's, we talked about it an episode or two ago, but he's just capped in that offense, and his role is really not to be that guy, and Sutton could be that guy.
I changed my mind, Cortland Sutton.
You guys seem to love these questions. See,
this would be something I could change my mind again like 8 more times.
Yep.
And then it would come up to this position in the draft and be like, I don't know what to do.
I'm gonna wake up at like 3:17 in the morning and punch the dog. Damn it.
Odell Beckham. I should have said Odell Beckham.
Yeah.
Any takes, Ryan? You hit
DJ Hawkinson.
DJ Hawkinson, no brainer.
Obviously.
KJ Hamler. I think Cortland Sutton kind of tries to JJ's point. I mean, Ron keeps mentioning ceiling. I think Odell Beckham just won't become that guy. I mean, he's been there a couple years now, and it's just. And we talked about how much better Baker did when Odell wasn't on the field because he didn't feel like he had to force it to him. So maybe Baker stops trying to do that so much, and it even further negates Odell's value. So I think I would go Cortland Sutton.
Okay. So what do you boys think? 2 more rounds of this, and then I'll save them for another time?
Yeah, probably.
All right, Ryan, pick a number then.
22.
Guys like that late round stuff now, huh? All right, number 22. Ryan, for a backup quarterback, would you rather have Ryan Fitzpatrick or Ben Roethlisberger?
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
The beard.
Big Ben doesn't have an arm anymore. Ryan Fitzpatrick will sling it. And I think big play opportunities, I think it's going to be all Ryan Fitzpatrick. I don't think the Steelers are even going to be good this year.
It's like I'm just putting these baseballs on it's like T-ball for Ryan, these last 2 questions. He's gotten really easy ones.
Yeah.
I like it.
JJ, you disagree or no?
No, I don't disagree. I mean, I praised Fitzmagic a little bit ago, but yeah, Roethlisberger's clearly deteriorating, and I talked about it before when I talked about Najee Harris as a possible bust candidate. They didn't really address the line, and then the offense they ran last year was just disgusting with their quick pass stuff. They got so old, and yeah, I'll take a little Fitzmagic action, I guess, if I'm forced to have one of those guys as my backup.
You just made me laugh because you said that Big Ben was currently deteriorating, and all I could imagine was Big Ben at the end of Infinity War, just turning to dust. That's all I could envision. I'm just seeing Big Ben out on the field, throwing a pass and just fading away. I just it got me. That's what I thought of when you said currently deteriorating. He went to the dust realm.
Lord. All right, Ron, pick a number.
I'm going to pick number 15.
All right, number 15. Again, Ron, you waited to take a quarterback on the board. And now your options are Matt Stafford, Joe Burrow, and Ryan Tannehill. Who are you picking?
Did you write this down before or after the Julio Jones news?
You think I could write all that down before or after the Julio Jones news?
Maybe. It could have been like this question. I mean, I don't know.
No, I did this last Friday before the trade. So
Okay. Stafford, Burrow, or Tannehill? I feel like it's going to have to be Stafford or Burrow. I don't think it'd be Tannehill. I'm going to go with the unknown of Burrow, I think.
interesting. And why?
Don't really know. This was more of a gut decision. Is
Boys.
that not how to fantasy? Should you go by like actual statistics and things, or sometimes you got to go with your gut,
Sometimes
right?
you just gotta call your shit. Like take your
Yeah. I mean, they definitely surrounded him with the talent to succeed, and their defense is crap. Like
So was their offensive line.
they've improved that a little bit.
Not much.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I just feel Burrow. Yeah, I think Burrow. Yeah,
You boys have
maybe
something-
Stafford.
I agree. Go ahead, Ryan. I'll let you go.
Okay. Well, so JJ's going to agree, but I think I'd go Ryan Tannehill. The Bengals did draft Joe Burrow's buddy there, but they also didn't fit the line situation that resulted in the ACL tear in the first place. So I mean, he got a weapon, but does he have enough time to actually get it to him? Ryan Tannehill finished number 7 last year in quarterbacks. He just got Julio. He's a decent game manager. I mean, he might not do the big plays, but won't get the turnovers, can run a pretty good offense. So I think I would go Tannehill.
Word of the night tonight, upside.
Yeah,
So I'm rolling with that, and I'm going with Burrow. Tannehill just in the last 2 years has had like a godly efficiency numbers as far as pass attempts and touchdowns. So, I mean, we talked about how many targets he lost, and he'll recoup that a little bit with Julio, but are his numbers really going to jump that much? I don't think so. And as far as Stafford, this narrative has bothered me, and I've heard it a lot in fantasy podcasts is, man, Matt Stafford's such an upgrade over Jared Goff. Like, are you sure? Now, listen to these numbers. 2017, 3,800 yards, 28 touchdowns, 7 picks. 2018, the year the Rams went to the Super Bowl, 4,688 yards, 32 touchdowns, 12 picks with a 101 QB rating. Is Stafford going to really top that? Do we really think he's going to be that good in LA? I don't think so. I think they're going to run Cam Akers, and they'll probably have numbers similar, a little less than that. So I like the Bengals. I'm in on them this year, fantasy-wise, with the weapons around Burrow. They have a below-average defense and weapons all over the place. So I've still got Burrow in my top 10 where I had him in my early fantasy rankings, and we're going to roll with that.
And with that, JJ, pick a number.
In honor of Devin Hester, number 23.
yeah.
What do you think? I screwed up the order.
No, I was thinking about adding something else, but I didn't want to. I lied.
You can say it if you want to.
No, it's just that last year Stafford averaged 16.9 points a game. Burrow averaged 17.6 or something.
And Tannehill averaged 21.9.
All right. In honor of Devin Hester, JJ, you've got a late round addition here. Who do you want? McCole Hartman, Philip Lindsay, or Cole Beasley?
Or McCole Hardman, not Hartman.
What he said.
Man, I don't know. That's tough.
What were the names again? I was too busy roasting
Cole
you.
Hardman, Cole Beasley, or Philip Lindsay. I don't want Philip Lindsay. I like the player. I hate the situation he's in. So
The Texans situation.
cut him from the list. So that comes down to Cole Beasley or
Beasley
McCole
still with the
Hardman.
Bills?
Yeah, and he had a pretty decent year last year, but they added Emmanuel Sanders. He's a little older. But Hardman, I had a lot of shares of him last year. I really thought he could ascend and break out. And especially when Sammy Watkins got hurt, I thought he was going to take off. I added him everywhere and even traded for him in the league, and he just didn't do anything. So it makes me nervous, but I'd probably give him another shot. I'd probably go with McCole Hardman and the upside that's there in Kansas City's offense.
How many years has Hardman been in the league?
I think this is his third or fourth. This is his third year, I think.
As many as Calvin Ridley, right?
So this
No,
is
this
his
is
third
Ridley's fourth
year.
Yeah, this is his third year. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it takes wide receivers like 3 years to actually get going. Sammy Watkins is out of the way. They definitely bolstered their offensive line.
Yep.
Yeah, I would have to go Hardman too, I think. Yeah.
Ryan.
Again, I think Cole Beasley's probably the safer pick. But I think McCole Hardman is got more upside.
He's a busy man over there. What can I say?
Yeah.
But Ryan, you have to pick a number. So
Oh, I still did. I got another one. Okay.
Yeah, we're doing one
Um,
more
Last
round.
one.
what's your last one?
One more round. My last one for number 3.
Number 3. All right, Ryan. We're in round 3 of the draft, and Antonio Gibson and J.K. Dobbins are staring you in the face. Who you taking?
Gibson.
Yeah.
That's my answer.
This is Ryan's question. You're in timeout again.
He took too long.
No. You're done.
Yeah, I think Gibson. I don't like J.K. Dobbins' situation over there. He doesn't really have the pass catching opportunities there for our, especially for a PPR league. Yeah, I just think Antonio Gibson. I don't have a ton else to say.
I'm just watching Ron eat this microphone over here, and it's kind of creepy. So let him answer.
He's loving it.
If it was just a standard league, no PPR at all, I probably would go Dobbins.
And the tiebreaker.
I'm going Gibson. I think J.K. Dobbins is a better running back, but the situation, like we talk about, Lamar Jackson steals over 1,000 yards. And then literally today, we just saw Gus Edwards get a extension from the Ravens, signed a 2-year, $10 million extension. So, I mean, they're going to use him. Paying a running back $5 million is no joke in these days, especially with this year's cap number. So I love Dobbins, and I pounded the table for him to get carries last year. And at the end of the year, he was the savage, probably a league winner for some people. But I think Gibson's just going to get more work. Like Ron said, he's going to get the catches, and, you know, he looked good down the stretch too before that turf toe got him.
Oh,
And with that, JJ, pick your last number.
don't I get to pick? This time
No,
you
I
did.
thought I already went
You went in
twice since
timeout,
we
so I'm
made that
skipping you.
announcement.
No, I'm skipping you because you talked out of turn. You'll go last. JJ, pick your number.
I kind of stopped writing them down, so I hope I don't repeat here. Number 11.
If I can find it. All right, here we go.
Right after 10.
Oh, thanks. Maybe I just won't give you. Maybe I won't give you a last question. All right.
Joe doesn't know what 11 is because the Jets have never won 11 games in the season before.
He's never had the count that high.
All right, JJ. You're all about upside, so this question's good. Would you rather have Kyle Pitts or Jamar Chase with a 7th round pick in the draft?
Ooh. If you asked me this a month ago, I would have said Jamar Chase. But with the Julio trade, I got to go with Kyle Pitts. I think they're going to use him a lot. We talked about how shitty their defense is, Atlanta's defense. So I will take Kyle Pitts, I think. He's actually, I believe, rated lower than Jamar Chase in most draft boards right now anyhow. So
I think
I'll
we're
take I'll take Pitts.
I think we're all drinking the fucking Kool-Aid.
A little bit.
Boys, what about you? Who would you take?
That's
This is only hard because taking a tight end in round 7 that's unproven
Yeah.
is difficult.
Aggressive.
Like a wide receiver, unproven, but he already has rapport with his quarterback. And you know there's going to be volume there because AJ Green had over 100 targets last year. Like, I don't want to do this again, but the safer pick is Jamar Chase. But that upside that Kyle Pitts could bring to that tight end position, am I alone in thinking that he could finish as the tight end 1? That he could supplant Travis Kelce?
No fucking way.
Is supplant a
Possible.
word?
I don't.
Is supplant the word?
no.
He's
I'm all
Supplant?
about it because
No
my
way.
last name's Loveplant, but surplant, I've never heard of that.
Oh.
Supplant?
You mean like usurp?
Maybe.
I don't know what shocks me more, the fact that you just said that he's gonna potentially
No.
Kelsey or your English.
Joe.
Should be.
Okay,
both.
let's
Okay,
stop.
Joe.
I
right
got that.
here.
Yeah,
and I
Joe.
got
Let's
Yeah, Joe.
stop. You want to talk about English?
No, his is more grammar though.
I just
Listeners,
spell things.
if you could just comment on all our future videos explaining the difference between two, and the thens and theirs for Joe's learning, we'd really appreciate it.
Then and then is the big one.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Which is
I'm
such a
not
simple
saying.
concept.
I'm not saying. The teacher gets so upset. I'm not saying he will, but like we just talked about how he could go for over 1,000 yards and have all these touchdowns. He could be lined up as a wide receiver. Like they could literally line him up at wide receiver all year. They could say, we didn't draft a tight end. We drafted a wide receiver, but continue calling him a tight end. It's not a rookie wide receiver could outscore a tight end in fantasy, even Travis Kelce. So that's my point. Like, I'm not saying it's going to happen, and by no means will I stat it out that way. But I don't necessarily think I'd be shocked if he did. And not to mention, Travis Kelce is getting old. I know he's been dominant for years, but at some point, it's going to catch up with him. And I'm not saying he's going to go from, oh, look, I'm a 1,200 yard a year tight end to 300 yards. But coming down to 900 yards, and then Kyle Pitts having just 1,000 yards, like, it's not out of the realm of possibilities. I understand it sounds silly just because of what Travis Kelce has been for so many years. But dude is 30 now,
Well, it's
if
not
not
gonna be-
older.
It's not going to
Huh?
be. It's not going to
Yeah,
be.
and I'm not saying it will be, but I'm just saying it's not out of the realm of possibility either. So I guess that's my long way of saying I'll take Kyle Pitts.
And with that, asshole, pick your last question.
Oh, I actually get one. Let's do number
I'm-
10.
My gracious nature, I'm giving you one.
Okay, cool. Number 10.
All right, number 10 and our last question of the night. All right, Ron, would you rather have T. Higgins, Myles Gaskins, or Chase Claypool? And the reason why it falls this way was your draft started out running back, wide receiver, running back, wide receiver, QB.
So I have 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and QB.
Correct.
So I'm in round 6, or I'm looking for my 6th player, and it's Chase Claypool, Myles Gaskin,
Or T. Higgins.
or T. Higgins.
Miles Gaskin.
You know why Ryan jumped out of order? That's because there's no questions left tonight.
How's
I
it
feel
feel,
like-
Ron?
I feel like I have to agree, though. I feel like I want the running. It'd be easier to find a wide receiver later with more potential upside than it would be a running back. So yeah, I've already got my 2 starters, but Myles Gaskin could go out and just be as good as he was last year, which is a really good flex play or bye week number 2 or something like that. So I think I'd have to go with Myles Gaskin.
Interesting. You boys have any other opinions? And the committee says nothing. So, I guess Ryan's got something. And JJ.
I think they just unmuted because why would they be muted the whole time?
I probably would take T. Higgins. I don't know. Gaskin's, he's just one of those guys. I don't know. There's just some guys I just can't get into. I don't know. I know that sounded kind of weird, but
Oh, it didn't until you pointed it out.
Perfect way to end the show.
I just don't see myself drafting.
Oh, why
Myles
would you
Gaskin
do
this
that?
year.
It was fine. No one was gonna say anything. Oh, you did it to yourself.
It was my own mind. I'm
Just
sorry.
my
get
God.
into him.
That was so great. So great. So Myles Gaskin finishes the running back.
I'm in on the Bengals offense.
Myles Gaskin finishes the running back 27, averaging wrong thing, last year, and he only played 10 games.
Oh man.
I'm really trying hard to get it back to
I know.
a normal spot, and it's just
I know.
Yeah.
I'm too low on him. I don't know. And they didn't even draft anybody. I
Nope.
don't know what it is.
Yeah,
It's a
all they
gut
have
thing,
is
I don't
that
know.
Sylvan Ahmad in there. So I think
well. They also
Gaskin's-
brought in Carlos Hyde.
No,
I'm
he
not
went to-
saying-
he went back to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Hyde's with Jacksonville.
I thought the
Maybe.
Dolphins brought someone in.
and Myles Gaskin's got 41 receptions off of in just 10 games. So in a PPR league, that's pretty solid.
Yeah. Yeah, he finished. There was only 3 games that he actually played where he wasn't at least a running back 2. So if you can get him as your 3rd running back, like that's good depth. And I like T. Higgins, and I don't think his opportunities go down because the offense didn't really change. They just swapped out a much better Jamar Chase with AJ Green. So I don't know. And I feel like I can get a wide receiver similar to T. Higgins a little bit later in the draft where I don't think I'd be able to get a potential running back 2 any later than that. So,
That's fair.
Yep, good point.
Joe,
Some
why did it
guys
just
you
get
can't
so
get
dark
into.
in your room?
Setting the mood.
All right, cool.
He's really
Well, with
worked
that,
up
Joe, those were amazing questions, bro. You brought
now.
your A game. That was awesome. Very nice.
I've got
I
really
thought way more than I was gonna have to.
Yeah, yeah. I was waiting for would you rather have Christian McCaffrey or Myles Gaskin?
And boys, we only went through about half of them, so we can do that on another episode too.
Awesome.
Top question, Joe. So if Ron was to say, I like Myles Gaskins more than T. Higgins, how would he spell the than?
He's got it written
And that's
down.
the end of the show, boys.
Ryan with the question of the night at the end.
Now, all right. So I do have one final question with the would you rathers. And this is for all 3 of you.
Love the dodging.
Would you guys rather play Dynasty Football, DFS, Snake Drafts, or Auction League?
Nate, I feel like I'm not good at auction. That's definitely a harder one. I feel like Snake is definitely easier as far as draft goes, but auction's a lot more fun.
If
JJ?
I could only pick one to do the whole year, I'd probably do DFS because I make a lot more money that way.
Ron?
Right now I'd definitely say auction. We're doing our first it's definitely my first dynasty league this year. I feel like I'll enjoy it. Have you guys heard that there is a new type of dynasty type of fantasy football
No?
where it's dynasty, but you get like a salary cap, and you have to like run your team. So like, say you drafted Christian McCaffrey back when he was a rookie, like so he wouldn't be as much, but now he'd end up being more money. So you'd have to work around your salary cap. I'm like,
it's like playing Madden fantasy.
right, yeah. So I'm like, that's
I
actually
turn off my salary cap in Madden, so I would not be about that. I'm that guy. Like, I never have an issue signing anybody. I'm like, sure, 100 million for 3 years, second string running back, you got it.
yeah.
Oh boy.
300 million. What? You just want how much you want? Let me just keep pushing the button. All right, let's get out of here. As always, this has been Garbage Time Fantasy Football. Follow us on Instagram at Garbage Time Fantasy Football, where Joe puts up some amazing clips of our shows. Every show we have, he's amazing. He puts it up on YouTube also, so follow us there at Garbage Time Fantasy Football. Remember to go to iTunes, leave us a review. That'd be awesome. Give it 5 stars if you think it's worth 5 stars. I'm not going to be one of those guys that tells you to just give it 5 stars just because I want you to give me 5 stars. I want you to give me 5 stars because we've earned 5 stars, right, boys?
I'll tell you to put on 5 stars even if we don't deserve it.
Well, Joe, I was setting up this whole thing and you just destroyed it. I'm setting it up saying, like, we're not like those other guys that are just going to push you and tell you, no. And then you ruined it. Yeah, give us 5 stars, motherfuckers. There, you happy? That's what we're doing. I'm pushing the button.
That's better.
Oh, wait. Simplecast, Google Podcast,
Spotify, iHeartRadio,
Apple iTunes.
Pretty much.
JJ's really like, just push the damn button. I'm ready to get out of here.